Hello, welcome back again. My name is Aikaeli Gilliard. I am a pharmacist and a curator, and I am currently a Chevening scholar at Swansea University in Wales. Today, I would like to talk about a subject that is not so much jolly, but we have to talk about it regardless, and that is about what to do when you don't go through the next stage in Chevening application. So this is February. This is the time whereby shortlisted candidates are attending interviews. However, some people may have not progressed to be invited to interview stage, which can be very sad and can be very disappointing. So these are some of the things that I think can be helpful to a person who was a Chevening aspirant and they haven't been invited for a Chevening interview. Some of the things maybe they can think of um, going forward. So first, I would say, given that you had worked hard on your essays, you had given your essays your, I don't know, your 100%, you went and searched for referees, you crafted this good application, you would feel sad, you'd feel disappointed, and there is a time you feel sometimes you feel that you have been rejected. And I think one thing that I constantly try to remind myself, because I do a lot of application for my platform balcony series for myself, so I try to constantly remind myself that whenever I get a no, people or somebody has rejected my application, and they haven't rejected me, they have rejected what I have put in there. Or because of that thinking, it makes you think that because they have rejected the content of what you have put there, then there is a chance that you can put and you can come up with a content that they can see and find it more, I don't know, they can more acceptable than what they have rejected before. So I think first, take that out of your mind. If you're thinking that way, people are not rejecting you, they rejected the application that you have sent, so it means you can improve next time. And second, it's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel sad. So this is the second time I have applied for Chevening, and that is when I got it. The first time I ended at in reserve stage, and of course at the end I didn't get the scholarship. So it felt sad because at the end it felt as almost that I could get the scholarship, then I didn't get it. And we applied 3 friends, and I was the only one who didn't get it. So I felt sad. I was like, why this, why that, yada yada. But of course it happened what happened, and I'm actually very grateful for it. And that's like a story for another day. So I allowed myself to feel sad, I grieved, and I expressed I expressed the disappointment in different ways. I enjoy writing, so I wrote about how I felt. I journaled. I have actually some articles, but I haven't published them. So maybe I will publish them one day. But yeah, I think it's a good exercise to do, because that way you will actually allow that emotion, that anger to get out of you, that sadness, whatever that it is, disappointment to get out of you. And second, then you start thinking, what exactly are you doing next? So are you thinking of reapplying, or maybe you're like, no, I don't want Chevening anymore, maybe I want something else? Both of those are valid options, because you've got a choice. You've got a choice of what you want. So you can say you want to reapply, you can say you don't want to reapply. So if you want to reapply, I think what I would advise you is, once you have regained your clarity, I mean away from emotions, because sometimes emotion can cloud your judgment, revisit your essays. And if you can get a second eye, allow somebody else to read your essay. Sometimes you really can't see your mistake at first. Some of the things that maybe you could have done better, some of the places that you could have said or worded things differently. So allow another person to see your essays and get their feedback. Preferably, if you can get a Chevening scholar, that will be well and good. So that will help you to not repeat the same mistakes when you're applying for, if you are reapplying the next time. And even if you're not reapplying to Chevening, what I would advise is the concept of multiplicity of opportunities. So when I didn't get Chevening, I actually sat down with myself and identified a number of other opportunities that could also be meaningful, or they're in a more or less similar caliber like Chevening. So I just sat down with myself and like wrote them down. If I don't get Chevening, maybe I could get Commonwealth scholarship. I just went and listed all these different opportunities. Because it's all about like academic growth, like if there are fellowships. So I went and listed different fellowships. I went and listed different courses, both in like healthcare and in curatorship. And then I went and like tried to see the requirements for those courses. The goal is that even if you're going to still reapply for Chevening, try and also apply for other opportunities so that you cast a wider net. And by casting a wider net, you're giving yourself options to choose from. You're not only depending from one thing. I know that sounds cliche, but it's good to have a lot of options. And also, a lot of these applications, a lot of them are similar. So by seeing and doing different applications, you will eventually gain more skills, you get more clarity, and you'll know what to kind of like expect. Yeah. Thirdly, if you're considering to reapply, I would advise that you start early. You start early with your essays. You start early with your work experience. If you haven't got enough work experience, then right now, this is February, once you're waiting for Chevening application to open in September, then now you can do the volunteer work, you can do the internship, the apprenticeship. You can do all those things now, so that once it's time to apply, you have already accrue experience that will be useful in your application. And one thing particularly I would like to highlight, sometimes when you do a lot, not when you do a lot of applications, sometimes when you do all these applications, it gets murky, because when your application gets rejected, there is a tendency of feeling that you're the one who's being rejected, while in real sense, people are not rejecting you. People are rejecting whatever that you did put in that application. So that means they're not rejecting you. So if that ever crossed your mind, do not let that thought linger. Do not. Yeah. And then again, lastly but not least, the fourth thing I would advise is patience. Chevening timeline is long. You apply in September. So September to November, the window is open. You get invited to an interview in Feb or January, late January. And then you get a feedback on if you got the scholarship or not around June. So it's a very long cycle, which is similar to a number of other scholarships and a number of other fellowships. So I think you should look at it in a more of like long-term goal, more of like allowing yourself the patience. And one thing I usually discuss with one of my friends, he always tells me that whenever he applies for something, he does everything that he's supposed to do, submits the application, and forgets about it. Forget if it ever existed. And how can you forget if it ever existed? Find other options. Chevening is a very good opportunity, and I believe many and more people should apply to it, and many people can get it. But also apply to other things so that you have options. Apply to other things so that you have a good problem. In case if you get chevening and you get something else, then you have a choice of choosing, rather than not. Let's say if you don't get chevening, then that was it. So yeah, those are my 2 cents, and I hope that in the midst of that, you don't forget that they rejected your application, not you. And because they rejected your application, which means the next time you can send a better application that they would potentially like. And one of these days, I will bring a colleague and a friend of mine who has applied almost 8 times until he succeeded to get Chevening scholarship. I would invite him to come and just talk about his story, talk about how he managed to reapply, how he found his hope, like what happened, because it's interesting, and it shows a lot of patience, a lot of humility, a lot of like perseverance. So yeah, so do not lose hope. And I send a lot of hope to you. I send a lot of love. Kama sisi wengine tumepata chevening, and sio kwamba sisi we are very special. Particularly mimi, I'm not that special, and kwa sababu nimepata chevening, I believe watu wengine pia wanaweza kupata. I believe kuna leaders wengi wazuri, and wewe ni unawezekana ukawa ni mmoja kati ya hao. Ni kwamba tu muda mwingine labda ese zako hazikuwa zimeandikwa katika namna ambayo ilivutia. Kwa hiyo let's chill, then we regroup, and then we reapply again. And even if you don't want to reapply and you want to do another opportunity, then that's also well and good. Other than that, I would like to wish you a good evening, a good morning, a good day, a good whatever. Bye.